Alright guys, so Brian Koberger's sentencing is over. A lot of documents have been released. I'm going to start reading them one by one. So this first document is a narrative from one of the officers who responded to the scene on November 13th. Trigger warning, this is kind of graphic. So it says on 11/13/2022 at approximately 11:56 hours, Moscow Police Department officers responded to an unconscious call. The RP, later identified as Bethany Funk, reported her roommate was passed out, not conscious, and not breathing. Upon arrival, I saw Hunter Johnson crouching near the entrance to 1122 King Road. Johnson was in obvious emotional distress. I announced myself as a Moscow police officer and heard Officer Nunez and Warner respond from upstairs. When I got to the second floor, I saw a female covered in blood in the bedroom on the northwest side of the second floor. I believe this female to be Xana. I looked inside the bedroom. Xana was laying, and it was obvious an intense struggle had occurred. Xana was obviously deceased. There was blood smeared on various items in the room and all over the floor. There was blood cast off on the walls in various places, including above Xana's body. Xana was on her back on the floor in the center of the room with her head towards the west. Xana was in her underwear, a long-sleeve gray shirt. Both her t-shirt and underwear were covered in blood. I could see what appeared to be defensive wounds on Xana's hands. There was a deep gash on Xana's left hand between her pointer finger and thumb. A partially covered male was on the bed and also obviously deceased. I believe this male to be Ethan. The midsection of Ethan's body was covered with a blanket. Ethan's head wasn't visible and appeared to be between the bed and the south wall. There was some blood cast off and what appeared to be arterial blood spray above where Ethan's head was located. I proceeded upstairs to the third floor where I met Officer Nunez and Warner. Officer Nunez and Warner advised the residence was clear of any additional people. There was a dog belonging to Kaylee in the third floor west bedroom, which had access to a third floor deck. I asked Officer Warner to start a crime scene log at the front entrance. Once Officer Smith arrived on scene, I asked him to stand guard at the kitchen sliding door, which I later learned was ajar upon our arrival. On the third floor, I went to the southeast bedroom where Officer Nunez and Warner advised they found two females, whom I believed to be Kaylee and Madison. Both females were obviously deceased. I observed Kaylee lying on the north side of the bed and Madison lying on the south side of the bed with their heads towards the east. Kaylee and Madison were covered by a pink blanket which was covered in blood. There was a large pool of blood near Kaylee's midsection. There was blood cast off on the east and north walls above Kaylee and Madison. Madison appeared to be laying up against Kaylee. Madison had what appeared to be wounds to her forearm and hands, so Maddie did try to fight back. Madison had a gash under her right eye which appeared to go from the corner of her left eye to her nose. Kaylee was unrecognizable as her facial structure was extremely damaged. I asked Officer Nunez to close the bedroom door so the dog did not try to disturb the scene. Another officer actually says that he was unable to comprehend exactly what he was looking at due to how unrecognizable Kaylee's face was. It was disfigured and it was STABBED several times. This specific officer was assigned to hold security at the rear slider door. This was the alleged point of entry of the suspect. I observed very large footprints in the snow, this person says. I used a tape measure and the shoe size measured approximately 13.5 to 14 inches. The footsteps went to and from the rear slider door. I observed the trail of footsteps head away from the slider, then turn right around a stump in the backyard and lead toward the front of the house. I observed a set of small handprints on the window to the east of the slider. The screen to this window appeared damaged and was laying on the ground. I located smudged fingerprints on the glass slider door. There was a discarded black backpack in the backyard. I photographed these items and attached them to the case. So this is a lot more detailed than what we have received and seen in the past. I'm going to continue to go through these documents and share everything with you guys. I'll break everything down and we'll just keep going through this.